Hey there you, it's Glenn from Backlands Fish. Sunday night's on us again and it's time for another update. Had a big week, some fish have gone out, a few things have bred, a bit to talk about. See you on the other side. Alrighty then, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit tired and emotional at this stage, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on tonight. This is where we started last week's review, looking at this tank here, and the numbers of fish have gone down dramatically as a result of a big shipment that went out from my place Saturday morning to head up to Sydney. We packed about 115 fish out of this one tank in front of us. Some of those fish went to the New South Wales Cichlid Society AGM and raffle, as mentioned last week at the outset, and some went on to a good mate Craig, who's going to hopefully sell some of them out into your LFSs in the area. Just for context, I was up until 6:15 in the morning. I started packing fish at about midnight on Friday night, and that was after an hour or so of prep after watching the footy Friday night. And I didn't get to, well, I went to bed after a quick shower and a lie down at 6:15 in the morning for half an hour before going to the airport. So that was a massive part of my week. Some of that stuff that we do, unrewarded running sometimes, but nice to get some fish out of my room and onwards. Part of that job was pulling this tank apart, and it's probably not going to look like anything at all at this time of night. I have some lovely Tanganyikan cichlids here. These are the Chalanochromis sprachati. Some of these went up for the raffle. This is a 3x18x18 tank that has my breeders in it, and they're still sulking from the experience of this tank being pulled apart about 4 days ago. Believe it or not, there's about 10 big fish in here, plus some juvies, and because I'm filming late at night, I don't think they're going to come out at all. But the good result was that we pulled out a substantial number of juveniles, and some of those went up to the raffle and hopefully have gone into other tanks and will get enjoyed. One of the setbacks I had earlier this week, same day, I did a water change on this tank down here, which was, and unfortunately that's past tense now, my young group of Sex fasciatus gold, Neolampologus Sex fasciatus gold. I had 6 nice fish in here that were kind of starting to settle in, and made the mistake of water changing and answering a phone call. And what basically happened was that as the water was drifting back into this tank, I do big water changes, 100%, and that's good if you're concentrating, but got a phone call, took my eye off the ball, and the temperature of the incoming water drifted up a couple of clicks to the point at about 30 degrees instead of the 24 the tank was at, and that was enough to upset these fishies, and so we lost all 6 of them. And now I'm waiting on my good buddy Kev to send me some more, which it's just disappointing when you make dumb mistakes in the hobby, and sometimes it's as simple as answering a phone when you're not prepared. We went into this tank again. I think I've already spoken about these in a previous update. These are the black katana haplachromis from Lake Victoria. Stripped 2 fish this time, got a good number of eggs, but they haven't tumbled well again. I'm not sure what the go is, whether the fertility is an issue, and that might come back to a me thing with the way I'm doing my salts. So that's a bit of a watch this space. The fish look great, but that was another disappointment I had this week. Trying not to sugarcoat my results. And on that exact same front, here's the third disappointment I've had this week. I went into my tank of red flash peacock, I don't know which it is. This is the ham bench Fort McGuire, and I've got 2 adult females in here. of which I stripped both, and these eggs were good, but as sometimes happens, you get a bit of shit luck with egg tumblers and they'll clog, or airline will move within the tumbler for some reason and reduce your flow, and you get no result. And unfortunately I turned 70 eggs into no result. At least the fish are still there, and that first tank we looked at has got 30 or 40 juveniles from this species from some time ago, so we will get there eventually. Right, that's the end of my bad news, I think. Bit of good news. This fry box up here, I'm going to drop some food in. This is going to be challenging for me to film and talk at the same time, but we'll see how we go. What we have in here are some some baby Lake Tanganyika killifish. I'm usually pretty good with my Latin, but right now this one's eluding me. And unfortunately it's difficult to film because they are sitting on the surface and they go in behind this stupid great suction cup mechanism that the Zis boxes rely on. So it's hard to see what's going on with this particular fish. These come over from Melbourne recently from my good buddy Max. We might still have some eggs and eggshells. The bottom of the box is too dirty to see what's going on, so that's not the best viewing, unfortunately. But the good news is that these are starting to hatch out. These come over, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. Max said that they got collected that Sunday 3 weeks ago, and they would take 21 days to hatch, and sure enough some of them are now starting to hatch. So that's been a nice little result for me this week, and I look forward to getting them down into a bigger tank and to play with. Late Friday night when I was catching fish for the raffle, we stumbled across this is probably going to make people laugh as to why I get excited, but these are what we call mistakenly in Australia crimson tides. This is the Astato tilapia lafasciata from Lake, I think, Edward and maybe Kyoga. It's one of those interesting African cichlids that it features from a couple of lakes. Seemingly common in the hobby, but not everyone's breeding them. So glad to breed some of them after a long time. They were in the big tank at the beginning where the venustas were, and we're just sort of growing them on. So I'm just going to break in here. This is something I've noticed in the last little bit since starting filming. This is Astato tilapia bertoni. We've got a what looks to be a little girl holding here, so that's kind of exciting. I didn't realise these had started breeding until just now, and it makes sense to me because I fed this tank a few days ago, and I also noticed a couple of little baby fish getting gobbled, which I didn't. I got these macrops out the other day, as we spoke about last time, and I didn't realise I had something holding there because I wasn't looking for them to be breeding yet at that small size. But there we go, 2 Astato tilapia species this week breeding. Little follow-up too, I put up a short video the other day featuring this guy, the Placidochromis blue otter. Sorry, I got my hose in the way there. Madly trying to spawn in the corner with a female, and we've now got, I think I've got 3 decent sized female blue otters, and I think 2 of them definitely holding without looking onto the 3rd. What did we do around the back this week? given the amount of packing I did, I've emptied a few tanks of fish. These cordos I cleaned up the other day, and we got some babies out, and I'm desperately trying to get the pair set up as I've discussed. So we ended up with some baby cordos in here sitting up the front. Got about 18 out. It's not a massive group, but it's a start. They're in there with some Chalanochromis nadoides. Some of those went up to the raffle and apparently were quite a popular bigger ticket item. Down here are the fruits of my efforts. The Chalanochromis brachadi tank that we harvested, I got just on 100 fry at various sizes out, from fairly small ones up front there, 15 mil, down to bigger fish that are easily 4 centimetres down the back. Got some good numbers there. I think that's probably enough of me for the weekend. We've got a couple of completely empty tanks along here. That's not exciting from your point of view, but it's exciting from my point of view because I've now got somewhere to let some fry out and get them going. We moved our firefish out of a project around the corner. I'll talk more about that probably next week. Marble peacocks that have got to go. There's just so much to do, folks. It's too much for me to wrap my head around this time of night. Oh, okay, one quick last one. I did speak about my Neolampologus bescheri at the end of a video a few weeks back, and it turns out that they have spawned for me, and quite possibly I've missed a spawn because there's fry at 2 different sizes. So that's exciting. This beautiful fish, and it's exciting to have some of them coming along. Alright, enough of me. Thanks again. See you next Sunday for another one. Bye.